Welcome to our channel, where we peel back the curtain on Hollywood's hidden truths. Hollywood may be the land of fame and glamour, but behind the bright lights and red carpet smiles lies a darker, often heartbreaking reality. Beneath the glitz, many stars have fought, and sometimes lost, a relentless battle with alcoholism. For some, it's a private struggle kept behind closed doors. For others, it's a very public descent that's destroyed careers, reputations, and even lives. Today, we're diving deep into the lives of 25 of Hollywood's most infamous stars whose battles with alcohol led to shocking scandals and tragic endings. This is the side of Hollywood you were never meant to see. Let's get started. Richard Burton, one of Hollywood's most iconic stars, was known not only for his extraordinary acting talent but also for his lifelong battle with alcohol. At the height of his fame in the 1970s, Burton was rumored to consume 2 to 3 bottles of vodka a day, fueling a public image as controversial as it was compelling. With his trademark wit, he once joked to a director that he'd cut back to just 1 bottle a day. Even more shockingly, he claimed to feel sober after drinking 2, a darkly humorous comment that revealed the depth of his addiction. Despite his struggles, Burton's talent was undeniable. His powerful performance in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? 1966, earned him an Oscar nomination and cemented his place in film history. However, as the years went on, alcohol began to take a serious toll on both his health and his career. While filming The Klansman, Burton was in such poor shape that many of his scenes had to be shot with him sitting or lying down, just to keep him steady. Recognizing the danger he was in, Burton made the brave decision to enter rehab, especially during the emotional turmoil of his divorce from Elizabeth Taylor. Though he ultimately overcame his addiction, the years of heavy drinking had already done irreversible damage. In 1984, Richard Burton passed away from cirrhosis and kidney failure. He left behind a legacy of unforgettable performances and a deeply human story of brilliance, struggle, and resilience. Frank Sinatra, the legendary crooner and irreplaceable icon of his generation, wasn't just known for his velvety voice and timeless charm. He was equally famous for his love of good liquor. His drink of choice? Jack Daniels. So devoted was he to the Tennessee whiskey that he was rarely seen without a glass in hand, whether it was noon or midnight. His signature cocktail was simple yet iconic. 4 ice cubes, 2 fingers of Jack, and a splash of water, all served in a classic rocks glass. Rumor has it he could go through an entire bottle a day, something that deeply concerned his doctor. While Sinatra's career sparkled with unforgettable hits and acclaimed films, his heavy drinking cast a darker shadow over his personal life. When intoxicated, he was known to have a short fuse, often clashing with journalists and even close colleagues. One chilling story claims that his ex-wife once locked herself in a room after witnessing him spiral into aggression after downing too much gin. Still, Old Blue Eyes was adored by fans and surrounded by a tight-knit circle of Hollywood pals who jokingly dubbed themselves the U.S. Olympic drinking team. When Sinatra passed away in 1998, a bottle of Jack Daniels was placed in his coffin, one final toast to their unbreakable bond. Sinatra left behind a dazzling legacy, a reminder of both the glamour and the grit that comes with life at the peak of fame. Joan Crawford, the legendary Hollywood icon, didn't just leave her mark on the silver screen. She also became the glamorous face of one of the world's biggest brands, PepsiCo. After marrying the company's CEO, Crawford was named an official ambassador, using her star power to elevate the brand on a global scale. But with great power came not just responsibility, but also a few unique perks. During her worldwide tours as Pepsi's leading lady, Crawford became known for her highly specific and rather extravagant drink preferences. Her go-to list? Gin, bourbon, scotch, champagne, and naturally, a splash of Pepsi. But according to insiders, the soda often played more of a decorative role, as Crawford reportedly favored her beloved liquors over the soft drink she represented. Though her bold requests raised a few eyebrows, Crawford's larger-than-life persona only added to her mystique. She wasn't just a movie star, she was a timeless symbol of influence, blending fame, business savvy, and unapologetic flair. Her legacy remains an unforgettable chapter in Hollywood history. Leonard Nimoy, best known for his iconic role as Mr. Spock in Star Trek, left an unforgettable mark on pop culture history. But behind the calm, logical exterior of this legendary character was a quiet, personal battle, one fought fiercely off-screen. During the filming of the Star Trek series, Nimoy turned to alcohol as a way to cope with the grueling hours and mounting pressure of fame. His co-star William Shatner once revealed that Nimoy used alcohol as a shield against the intense demands and expectations placed upon him. What began as a coping mechanism slowly evolved into a dangerous addiction, fueled by Nimoy's susceptibility to compulsive behavior. Yet, despite the growing darkness, he didn't let it consume him. With remarkable courage, he acknowledged the problem and entered rehabilitation soon after the original series ended. Even after confronting alcoholism, Nimoy faced another uphill battle: smoking. This habit would eventually claim his life at the age of 83. Still, Leonard Nimoy was much more than Mr. Spock. He was a symbol of resilience, of quiet strength, and of the relentless human effort to overcome inner demons. His story serves as a poignant reminder that even the brightest stars can face shadowed struggles, and it calls for a deeper empathy and understanding for the artists who inspire us. Cary Grant, a timeless icon of Hollywood elegance, faced a deeply personal battle with alcoholism in the 1950s. But his path to recovery took an unexpected and groundbreaking turn when his doctor introduced him to a then radical treatment, LSD. While many feared the psychedelic substance, Grant embraced it, not as an escape, but as a doorway to liberation and self-discovery. Through a series of nearly 100 guided therapy sessions, the silver screen legend delved deep into his psyche, confronting past traumas and gaining profound insight into himself and the world around him. The transformation was so powerful he shared his experience with close friends, including Judy Balaban, daughter of Paramount Pictures president. "If it was good enough for Cary Grant," she once said, "it was good enough for me." Though controversial, the treatment marked a turning point in Grant's life. It brought him peace, clarity, and a renewed sense of purpose. Until his passing at the age of 82, Cary Grant lived not only as a celebrated actor but as a man who found balance, healing, and meaning beyond the spotlight. His legacy endures, not just in film history, but as a powerful story of resilience and personal transformation. Oliver Reed, a gifted actor with an electrifying screen presence, was known not only for his unforgettable villainous roles and piercing blue eyes but also for the scars on his face, remnants of a drunken bar fight that echoed his wild lifestyle and long battle with alcoholism. While his career was filled with iconic performances in The Three Musketeers, Oliver Twist, Treasure Island, and most memorably as Proximo in Gladiator, Reed's personal demons often made headlines alongside his talent. Director Ridley Scott personally cast him in Gladiator, on the condition that he would stay sober during filming. But even that promise couldn't undo the damage of years spent in excess. Reed's life was a whirlwind of parties and indulgence. On the fateful night before he was set to finish filming his final scenes, he went to a bar in Malta and reportedly consumed 8 beers, 3 bottles of rum, and several shots of whiskey. He suffered a fatal heart attack in that very bar, passing away at the age of 61. Despite his turbulent life, Reed faced his past with humor and brutal honesty. When asked if he had any regrets, he once joked that he couldn't drink every bottle of booze in the bar or love every woman in the world. Oliver Reed's legacy lives on through his brilliant performances, but his story remains a powerful and haunting reminder of the toll a reckless lifestyle and addiction can take. Elizabeth Taylor, the legendary beauty and brilliant mind of Hollywood's golden age, was admired not just for her dazzling career, but for her incredible strength in the face of personal struggles. Despite her immense fame and success, Taylor battled alcohol and drug addiction for many years. In 1983, she made headlines by becoming the first major celebrity to voluntarily check into the Betty Ford Center, a renowned rehabilitation facility founded by First Lady Betty Ford. With this bold and vulnerable move, Taylor not only took the first step toward reclaiming her life but also shattered the stigma surrounding addiction. Her courage opened the door for countless others who were suffering in silence to seek help without shame. After overcoming her addiction, Taylor reinvented herself as a fierce and compassionate advocate. She became a driving force in the fight against AIDS, dedicating her voice, influence, and resources to raise awareness, fund research, and support treatment efforts. Elizabeth Taylor's journey, from the depths of personal darkness to a life filled with purpose and advocacy, has become a beacon of inspiration. Her story reminds us of the power of resilience and offers hope to millions around the world. No matter how dark the moment, there is always a chance to rise, rebuild, and shine even brighter. Michael Landon, the legendary star of Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, was beloved for his wholesome, kind, and respectful presence on screen. But behind that perfect image was a hidden battle, one that lasted for years, with alcoholism and a serious tobacco addiction. Landon often masked his drinking by mixing whiskey into his coffee or hiding vodka in other beverages while on set. Even off-set, he was a regular at the local bar, where drinking became a deeply ingrained part of his daily routine. Melissa Gilbert, who played his daughter on Little House on the Prairie, once revealed she had no idea he was sipping vodka from his coffee mug during filming. She also shared that Landon had such a profound impact on her that she subconsciously found herself drawn to people who resembled him. In addition to alcohol, Landon was a heavy smoker, reportedly going through as many as 4 packs of unfiltered cigarettes a day. That habit is believed to have contributed to the pancreatic cancer that claimed his life at just 54. Despite his personal struggles, Michael Landon left behind a powerful legacy through unforgettable performances and a deep, genuine love for his craft. His story is a poignant reminder of the pain that can lie beneath the surface of fame and a call for empathy toward those silently fighting their own battles. Barbara Payton, a dazzling Hollywood starlet of the 1950s, was once hailed as one of the most promising talents in the film industry. Born in Minnesota, she quickly ascended to fame, starring alongside legends like James Cagney, Gary Cooper, and Gregory Peck. But her meteoric rise soon gave way to a devastating fall. Behind the glamour, Payton's personal life unraveled. Struggling with alcoholism, her career faltered, and she became entangled in a series of toxic relationships and run-ins with the law. Arrests for public intoxication and brushes with criminal activity became all too frequent. One of the most heartbreaking moments came when she lost custody of her child. Later, she was found passed out on a bus on Sunset Boulevard, drunk, disheveled, wearing only a jacket and a swimsuit. Her once bright future faded into a haze of alcohol, scandal, and public spectacle. Barbara Payton died at just 39 years old, her body ravaged by heart and liver failure. Though her time in the spotlight was brief, her story remains a haunting cautionary tale of wasted potential and the perils of fame gone awry. Her life serves as a stark reminder of how quickly the Hollywood dream can turn into a nightmare when temptation takes control. John Barrymore, one of Hollywood's most celebrated classical actors and a proud member of the legendary Barrymore family, left an indelible mark on the film industry in the early 20th century. Widely regarded as one of the greatest talents of his time, Barrymore became best known for his powerful performances in Shakespearean roles and his unforgettable portrayal of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Ironically, while he often played characters battling alcoholism, Barrymore himself struggled deeply with the disease. Though adored for his magnetic stage presence and undeniable talent, his personal life was anything but glamorous. His growing dependence on alcohol slowly eroded both his health and career. One of the most telling stories from his life involves his second wife catching him drinking her perfume, a heartbreaking symbol of just how far his addiction had progressed. In 1933, he starred in Dinner at 8, playing one of his first on-screen drunk roles, a performance that eerily mirrored his real-life demons. Despite his brilliance, alcohol took a heavy toll on Barrymore's memory and work ethic. He eventually had to rely on cue cards to deliver his lines, a stark contrast to the commanding performer he once was. As his addiction worsened, his career declined, and in 1942, John Barrymore passed away at the age of 60 from alcohol-related complications. His legacy remains rich with iconic performances, but his life also serves as a poignant reminder of the destructive power of addiction, even over the brightest of stars. With his piercing blue eyes and magnetic charm, Peter O'Toole might not be the first name that comes to mind when you think of Hollywood's infamous drinkers, but he was, Without a doubt, one of its most legendary. In an interview with David Letterman, O'Toole candidly admitted that his heavy drinking was partly a product of his era, a time when alcohol wasn't just a social norm, but also a creative outlet and even a professional aid. He once claimed that drinking actually improved his performances on screen. One of the most iconic stories about O'Toole's drinking took place during the filming of Lawrence of Arabia. While shooting the intense camel raid scene, both he and co-star Omar Sharif, who were terrified of camels, decided the best way to conquer their fear was to get drunk before the take. What might have been reckless was later seen as a symbol of bravery, actors facing their fears head-on. When asked about the scene, O'Toole simply laughed and admitted he could barely remember filming it, but at least, he joked, he didn't forget his lines. Despite his wild and unruly lifestyle, Peter O'Toole remains one of cinema's most celebrated talents, remembered as much for his unforgettable performances as for the outrageous, often hilarious stories that surrounded his life off-screen. Dean Martin wasn't just a star, he was the embodiment of charm and sophistication. With his dazzling smile and effortlessly romantic vibe, he became an icon, always pictured with a glass of wine in one hand and a cigarette in the other, a legendary look that both men admired and women adored. One of his most famous quotes, "I feel sorry for people who don't drink, because when they wake up in the morning, that's the best they're going to feel all day," cemented his image in the public's imagination. But behind the scenes, the real Dean Martin was quite different. That glass of wine he always held? It was usually just apple juice. And the cigarette? Purely for show. The suave, smooth-talking persona he portrayed was a carefully crafted stage act, one that turned him into a legend. When the spotlight faded and the curtain dropped, Dean Martin was a devoted father and a loving husband. He cherished quiet family dinners, shared the occasional real glass of wine with his wife, and knew how to keep his private life grounded even while living in the glittering chaos of showbiz. Dean Martin passed away in 1995 at the age of 78, but his legacy still shines. More than just a stage legend, he remains a timeless symbol of elegance, charisma, and quiet self-control in a world that often loses itself to the spotlight. The 1975 classic Jaws was a notoriously challenging film to make, and the behind-the-scenes drama is almost as gripping as the movie itself. Filming wasn't just about battling giant mechanical sharks and rough ocean conditions. The cast also had to navigate serious off-screen tensions, particularly between Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss. Shaw, who played the grizzled fisherman Quint, often fueled the friction by drinking scotch heavily during the long, grueling shoots. His frequent intoxication caused a number of issues on set, straining his relationship with Dreyfuss. Although one pivotal scene in the movie features Shaw's character drunkenly telling a haunting story, the actor's real-life drinking became a recurring problem. Dreyfuss, growing increasingly frustrated, made it clear he preferred working with a sober co-star. In one particularly heated moment, he even grabbed Shaw's drink and hurled it into the ocean, an act that perfectly captured the tension brewing between them. Still, despite the chaos and clashing egos, Jaws emerged as a masterpiece of modern cinema. And knowing what went on behind the camera only adds to the film's legendary status. Jan Michael Vincent was once a shining star in Hollywood, a heartthrob with striking good looks and unforgettable charisma. Best known for his iconic role in the hit TV series Airwolf, his rise to fame felt like something out of a movie. It all began with a chance encounter during his time in the Army, when a talent scout spotted him and opened the door to stardom. From there, Vincent's career soared. He worked alongside Hollywood legends like Robert Conrad, Charles Bronson, John Wayne, and Burt Reynolds. His natural screen presence and rugged charm made him a standout. At the height of his success, he became one of the highest-paid actors on television, earning a record-breaking salary for his role in Airwolf. But behind the scenes, a darker story was unfolding. The fame and fortune came at a price. Vincent spiraled into heavy drug and alcohol use, with cocaine and booze becoming part of his daily routine, especially during the second and third seasons of Airwolf. His addiction began to take its toll, production slowed, costs skyrocketed, and eventually, the show was canceled abruptly. Vincent's personal life was equally troubled. He faced multiple arrests for drunk driving, endured a horrific accident that left him with a broken back and eventually cost him a leg, and reports of domestic violence further tainted his image. Despite his once perfect looks and undeniable talent, the years of substance abuse aged him far beyond his time. Jan Michael Vincent's life is a haunting reminder of how quickly success can unravel. His story is a cautionary tale about the destructive power of addiction, even for those who seem to have it all. Before we continue, if you're into real Hollywood stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment below to let us know which star's story you want to hear next. Errol Flynn, with his irresistible charm and rugged good looks, captivated audiences in legendary roles like the swashbuckling Robin Hood and the fearless Captain Blood. But behind the glittering spotlight of Hollywood fame was a life filled with wild adventures, reckless indulgence, and unrelenting excess. Flynn was the very image of passion. On screen, a heroic warrior; off-screen, a notorious drinker and cocaine addict. His love for alcohol was so infamous that he earned the nickname Cirrhosis by the Sea, a nod to the staggering amounts he consumed aboard his private yacht. His parties were the stuff of legend, nights of unrestrained hedonism where sex, booze, and drugs flowed without end. His commitment to his craft was intense, but at times, he could barely stay sober enough to perform. Despite his charisma and talent, Flynn's lifestyle took a brutal toll. His whirlwind ride came to an abrupt halt when he collapsed in an elevator in his early 30s. Doctors later revealed his heart and lungs were already severely damaged. He would die of a heart attack just a few years later, at the age of 50. Errol Flynn's story is a haunting reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out fast when consumed by excess. His legacy lives on, not only through his iconic films, but as a cautionary tale of fame, passion, and self-destruction. Humphrey Bogart, hailed as one of the greatest actors in American cinema history, remains an icon for classic film lovers. With multiple Oscar nominations and unforgettable performances, Bogart carved out a legendary place for himself in Hollywood. But behind the scenes, his personal life was just as dramatic as any of his films. Despite his remarkable career, Bogart was infamous for his heavy drinking. A close friend once revealed that while Bogart was charming and easygoing during the day, everything changed when the clock struck 11:30 at night. He could become combative, stubborn, even violent, almost like a different person altogether. As time went on, his drinking began to interfere with his work. He often showed up to set drunk or nursing a hangover. During the filming of Sahara, he once refused to work altogether and instead spent the day riding a bicycle around the Warner Brothers lot, in his pajamas. One legendary story tells of his wife, Mayo, bringing him a carafe full of martinis just to keep him functioning. In another infamous episode, a drunken Bogart fled a restaurant with their safe, only to abandon it in the middle of Beverly Hills Boulevard. These antics didn't just disrupt his career, they also tarnished his public image. Years of excessive drinking and smoking eventually caught up with him. In 1956, Bogart was diagnosed with cancer and passed away shortly after. Even in his final days, he refused to give up alcohol and was reportedly still sipping sherry as his health declined. Humphrey Bogart's life is a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars can carry the heaviest burdens. A Hollywood legend whose talent was matched only by the complexity of his personal struggles. Bernard Lee was one of Britain's most iconic actors, with a remarkable career that spanned over 5 decades and included more than 100 roles across film and television. He began performing on stage at just 6 years old and quickly became a recognizable face on the big screen. Lee is best remembered for his unforgettable role as M, the head of MI6, in the James Bond franchise. Appearing in 11 Bond films, he left a lasting legacy in cinema history. But behind the scenes of his brilliant career was a life marked by heartbreak and hardship. Tragedy struck when his wife died in a devastating house fire. Soon after, Bernard faced financial ruin and was the victim of a violent robbery, events that sent his life spiraling into chaos. Overwhelmed by grief and personal struggles, he fell into a deep battle with alcoholism. According to reports, his addiction was so severe that during the filming of the Edgar Wallace Mysteries, he had to be locked in his dressing room between scenes to prevent him from drinking. Despite this, he went to great lengths to feed his cravings, even hiring someone to pass alcohol-laced syrup to him through a straw under the door. Lee's tolerance for alcohol was infamous. Fellow actor Richard Burton, himself no stranger to heavy drinking, once admitted that he couldn't keep up with Lee. Sadly, years of alcohol abuse took a toll on his health. Bernard Lee passed away from stomach cancer at the age of 73, a condition believed to be directly linked to his drinking. Though his life was filled with loss and struggle, Bernard Lee's legacy lives on. His portrayal of M remains a powerful symbol of authority, intelligence, and dedication, an enduring presence in the world of James Bond and in the hearts of movie lovers everywhere. Gail Russell was a gifted Hollywood actress who never sought fame, but her ethereal beauty and quiet charisma made her impossible to ignore. As a shy, introverted young woman, she found comfort in solitude, preferring peaceful moments over glitzy parties or Hollywood social scenes. Yet fate had other plans. A Paramount executive, captivated by her unique presence, persuaded her to audition, and just like that, she was thrust into the spotlight. In 1949, Russell married actor Guy Madison, but their relationship was fraught with difficulties and ended in divorce by 1954. Around the same time, rumors swirled about an alleged affair with her co-star John Wayne, adding more strain to her already fragile emotional world. The pressures of fame and heartbreak took their toll, and Russell fell into a painful battle with alcoholism. Her once promising career began to fade, and she frequently found herself in legal trouble for drunk driving. Still, she fought back. Determined to reclaim her life, Russell checked herself into a Seattle sanatorium for treatment. In 1955, following her divorce, she made a comeback with a role in 7 Men from Now, a film produced by John Wayne. Despite her efforts to rebuild her career, the grip of addiction never fully released her. Gail Russell passed away in her Los Angeles home, with the cause of death confirmed as acute and chronic alcoholism, a heartbreaking end to a life filled with both beauty and sorrow. Russell's story is more than just a Hollywood tragedy, it's a poignant reminder of the hidden battles behind the spotlight. Though her time was brief, her artistic legacy endures, and she remains forever etched in the hearts of classic cinema lovers. Spencer Tracy, one of Hollywood's most iconic stars, lived a life marked by brilliance on screen and turmoil off it. His long and painful battle with alcoholism left deep scars on both his personal life and his legendary career. Alcohol wasn't just a footnote in Tracy's story, it was a central theme woven into nearly every biography written about him, including James Curtis's comprehensive account. Tracy's struggle with alcohol was a private tragedy that affected everything, from his health to his relationships and professional commitments. Medical records from Johns Hopkins in 1942 reveal that Tracy, desperate to break free, would retreat for a week or 10 days after each film, hoping to stay sober. But even with full knowledge of the damage drinking was causing, he couldn't escape its grip. He often secluded himself in luxury hotels, missed important meetings, and let down the people who cared about him. Even after 5 years of sobriety, the craving never truly left. He once confessed that just seeing a martini could trigger his desire to drink again. Director and close friend Joseph Mankiewicz described the deep shame and sorrow Tracy carried, emotional wounds that never fully healed. Behind the spotlight and acclaim was a man fighting a quiet, relentless battle. Spencer Tracy's life wasn't just a tale of cinematic greatness. It was also a heartbreaking story of addiction, regret, and resilience. William Claude Dukenfield, better known to the world as W.C. Fields, was a true legend of American cinema, a master of subtle comedy with a persona as unforgettable as his voice. With his sly wit, gravelly tone, and unmatched comedic timing, Fields delighted audiences in roles that were equal parts mischievous, irritable, and strangely endearing. But Fields was more than just an actor. He was the face of a golden era in comedy, a man who brought laughter to millions while quietly battling demons of his own. Behind that magnetic presence and razor-sharp humor was a life tinged with tragedy. Fields wasn't just famous for his punchlines, he was also infamous for his love of drink. His alcoholism became a part of his public image, with exaggerated tales of him downing gallons of liquor each day. Still, even as his performances continued to draw laughs, his health began to fail. Plagued by delirium tremens and professional setbacks, Fields eventually disappeared from the big screen. Paramount ended his contract, and for a time, it seemed his era had passed. Yet, in 1937, Fields found a new stage, radio. As a regular guest on the Chase and Sanborn Hour, he rediscovered joy and connection with his audience. Radio offered him a lifeline, a way to remain in the public eye while regaining his health and spirit. But despite his resilience, the weight of his personal struggles proved too great. On Christmas Day, 1946, at just 66 years old, W.C. Fields passed away from a gastrointestinal hemorrhage. His wild stories and love of wine came to an end, but he left behind a legacy that still echoes through the world of comedy and a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between fame and personal hardship. Bela Lugosi, the tragic king of horror. Bela Lugosi, an undisputed icon of horror cinema, led a life shadowed by tragedy and inner torment, particularly in his harrowing battle with addiction. As the years passed, the brilliance of his career was dimmed by a devastating dependency on morphine and alcohol. This addiction not only ravaged his body but also took a heavy toll on his mind, plunging him into a dark abyss that eerily echoed the terrifying roles he portrayed on screen. One of the most haunting chapters of Lugosi's life unfolded during his collaboration with cult director Ed Wood. In the midst of filming a particularly intense scene, Lugosi, overcome by addiction, suffered a breakdown. According to accounts, in a moment of heartbreaking vulnerability, he gripped a pistol, pointed it at Wood, and with tears streaking down his face, whispered, "Eddie, I'm going to die tonight, and I want to take you with me." Those words were not just a line. They were a raw scream from the depths of his soul. A cry for help. A man at the edge. But Ed Wood, no stranger to the demons of addiction himself, saw past the madness. He understood the pain. And in that crucial moment, he knew what Lugosi needed most: relief. A lifeline. So, he reached for a bottle of scotch, Lugosi's favorite, and offered it. As the actor took a sip, the storm within began to settle. The pistol was lowered. The tension dissolved. For a fleeting moment, there was peace. Bela Lugosi's life was not just a tale of cinematic greatness. It was a harrowing odyssey through the dark corridors of addiction. His legacy is more than Dracula's chilling gaze or a villain's cold laugh. It's a sobering reminder of the fragile line between genius and despair. In the end, his story is both a celebration of artistic brilliance and a cautionary tale about the price that often comes with it. Lon Chaney Jr. was a gifted actor, best known for his unforgettable performances in horror classics, most notably Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Despite a remarkable career in film, Chaney's personal life was marked by deep struggles, especially with alcoholism and depression. His battle with alcohol took a heavy toll on his health, leading to serious illnesses such as liver disease and cancer. Yet, through it all, Chaney remained dedicated to his craft. He continued to act with passion and was deeply admired for his talent and the impact he made on cinema. Even as he faced personal demons, he never let them define him. His resilience and determination made him a beloved figure in the industry. Today, Lon Chaney Jr. is remembered not just as a horror legend, but as a symbol of perseverance and raw talent. His legacy lives on, inspiring generations in the world of entertainment. On October 19, 1978, a heartbreaking tragedy struck the life of acclaimed actor Gig Young. Known for his remarkable talent and award-winning performances, Young passed away at the age of 64, just 3 weeks after marrying Kim Schmidt, his fifth wife. His sudden and tragic death left behind a trail of unanswered questions about what truly led to such a devastating act. While no definitive explanation has ever been confirmed, many believe that the personal struggles and emotional hardships he faced played a major role. Throughout his life, Gig Young battled serious mental health challenges and long-standing issues with addiction, particularly to alcohol and drugs. These struggles deeply impacted both his personal relationships and his professional journey. Despite delivering unforgettable performances, including his iconic appearance in The Twilight Zone, Young's inner demons often overshadowed his career, stalling what could have been an even more extraordinary legacy. His story serves as a powerful reminder of how mental health and substance abuse can affect even the brightest stars, and underscores the critical importance of seeking help in times of personal or professional crisis. Albert Finney, one of Britain's most gifted actors, left an indelible mark on the world of cinema through his unforgettable performances in films like Tom Jones, Murder on the Orient Express, and Erin Brockovich. His remarkable career earned widespread acclaim and created lasting memories for fans around the globe. But behind the glitz and glamour, Finney quietly battled a personal struggle that few knew about: alcoholism. For much of his life, he wrestled with the addiction, often drinking beer during lunch and admitting that the habit had taken control of his life for years. Despite maintaining a successful career, his health became a growing concern as he aged. In 1984, after being diagnosed with kidney cancer, Finney made the courageous decision to quit drinking and focus on his recovery. Even in the face of serious illness, he showed incredible strength, continuing to act and deliver powerful performances until his retirement in 2012. Albert Finney passed away in 2019 at the age of 82, leaving behind a legacy that transcends the screen. His work remains a testament not only to his artistic brilliance but also to his resilience in the face of adversity, a powerful reminder of the personal battles he overcame throughout his life. Broderick Crawford, best known for his iconic role as Sheriff Matthews on the classic TV series Highway Patrol, battled alcoholism throughout his career. Unfortunately, the pressures of starring in a weekly show only worsened his struggles, creating challenges not just for himself, but for the entire production crew. Filming around Crawford's condition became increasingly difficult. The crew had to get creative. At times, scenes were shot with him leaning against a wall, when in reality, he was lying on the floor. They even went as far as redesigning parts of the set to create the illusion of a vertical wall when viewed from above, all to accommodate his condition. His addiction didn't just impact his work, it took a toll on his personal life as well. Crawford was arrested multiple times for driving under the influence, eventually having his license suspended. Ironically, the same police officers who inspired the 502 radio code in Highway Patrol were the ones responding to his off-screen behavior. Alcoholism led him to secretly bribe staff to bring booze onto the set, straining his relationship with the production company and escalating tensions with the crew. Over time, his addiction left lasting damage, both professionally and personally, casting a long shadow over the legacy of a once-celebrated talent. Thank you for tuning into today's story. The entertainment industry is full of powerful lessons about fame, hardship, and the human condition behind the spotlight. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's continue uncovering more moving, surprising, and unforgettable stories from the world of Hollywood. Drop a comment below and share what you took away from this story. We'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video.